All right, so let me begin with a good morning or good afternoon or good evening whenever you're watching this video. I'm just glad that you're here. Welcome to another weekly edition of Stock Market Mutterings. Doug here with Trade with Doug, and as always, my promise and guarantee to you is to take a grope in the murkiness. Try to make some sense out of the stock market. In the end, I hope I can provide you with some quality trade setups that put some money in your pocket. As always, if you need help, go to www.tradewithdoug.com. That's me, Doug. Trade with me. Glad to have you. So anyway, guys, let's get down to business here. Hope you're enjoying the extended weekend. What can we expect this week? Are we in the midst of a market correction? Is the market trying to tell us something? I'm going to try to do my best to interpret that for you. Now, we're still in this volatility period that we've been in pretty much since before Thanksgiving. We've had some back and forth moves. Yes, we've snuck up around some all-time highs, but the market certainly has a different tone and a behavior than it did a year ago. If you remember last year at this time, it was the GME, the AMC, then all of these small stocks started flying. We haven't seen that in a really long time, and that's certainly a change in the tempo. We're starting to see that the bigger tech stocks, the ones that have led us out of the coronavirus disaster from a couple of years ago, are now coming under some pressure, and we'll talk about that in just a second. As far as the bigger picture when you're looking at the market, it's still holding. We're spending an awful lot of time going back and forth. The volatility has increased. And for some of you, if last year was your first year of trading, you're going to be entering what I think this year is going to be a whole different concept. You're going to have to be highly skilled this year in order to make money. I really believe that the days of easy money is over, at least for the short term, but anything could change. Just going forward here, we're still trending up. I wouldn't say nicely. I was going to say that, but I'm not going to use that word. Still kind of trending up a little bit here, but really barely feels like we're clinging on to those lows. So as we move forward this week, look, I have no crystal ball that works either. This is really, to me, the line in the sand is roughly this 4,600 on the S&P. If you start losing that, then I think we're really going to come down here and try to connect with the 200-day moving average, which is around 44.17. Now, again, we can sell off here another 5-6% and still be in a bull market. It would just be a regular correction. And remember, we went through one here in September. This one I think was about 17 days long, but we've been stuck in this zone here for quite some time. The market, even though it made a new all-time high there at the beginning of the year, it still hasn't really plowed through the all-time highs, and it's not the same type of grinding feeling, is it? Now, there's a different story when you start looking at the NASDAQ. This thing where he's talking about the growth stocks, the beta stocks, the big names, is in a much different situation. I'm going to pull the cues up here for you guys real quick. A much deeper correction here. I don't know what it exactly is. I think it's 8%, but that's my eye math. Don't trust that. But it's always been more volatile. Again, in September, we've gone through some corrections here in the past, but this one here is very erratic. It's back and forth, back and forth. But the more important thing with this one is it's just laying very, very close to its 200-day moving average, and it feels like, at least now, which anything can change. Feeling is not reality. It can definitely change, but it feels like it wants to get down to that 200-day. You've got to watch this. I think this was Monday's low of 15,150-ish. If we get any close underneath of that, I would think that would be very catastrophic. So if your really bull thesis is buying this dip, I think you really have to be cautious if you start getting closes under there. I don't think it's going to be very pretty. Again, this market's going on a really, really long time without a significant 10 to 15% correction, and you're lining up there and really coming close to some serious technical levels. So keep that on your watch. Now, it's just not the market here we're talking about. As it's come to individual stocks, we've been talking about this since the summer. There's a lot of these stocks that just look terrible. Like you got, what is it, Lulu. This thing's going down. Etsy was another one. Etsy. I mean, look at just the sell-offs. This thing's running out of room on my screen over here. The list goes on. Even Shop, one of the bigger performers over the last few years. Look how much this one is down. You guys remember from last year things like Tiger, DMTK. These things just been in just a bloodbath for the whole year. So individual names have been selling off, and they are still selling off. Even Roku. I'm just popping stuff up in my head. These are still shorts to me on any sort of rally. None of them have been able to hold anything significant for several months, and I'm not expecting that to change. So I still see continued pressure there. Now, for some ones that are a little bit more on the forefront here, I'm going to start with some cheapies. SBEV. This is the Squeezer of the Month Club here. And no, I'm not recommending that anybody buy this. In fact, I think that might be stupid. But I want to short it. Now, some of you may listen to that. That's stupid. Just because something gets parabolic like this doesn't make it a short. As I told you before in a couple of watch lists ago, I've been kind of going back to shorting some penny stocks, if that's what you want to call them, micro cap stocks, cheap stocks, whatever you want to call them. It's been working really, really well. I'm just watching it right now. Remember, these things can always squeeze a lot more. You could make it a dip buying trade if you get some intraday setups like this where you have a long period of consolidation and a pop or a move coming out of consolidation. I can't fault you for buying that, but you must use a tight stop with this. The way you trade these are far different. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Don't hold these overnight. The risk is just too high. But I like this SBEV here for a short. Maybe we squeeze to 5s to 6s tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. And also you have BBIG, which has really been a good one. Now BBIG, I think, could have a little more upward momentum in it. It's kind of grinding out and not thoroughly parabolic. But it's not like this thing hasn't done this before. You know, it wasn't just here long ago in October. You had a good 4-day span before fatiguing and selling off. And I'm sure this move will either get up here where it is now or up towards 6 before fatiguing and pulling back. Again, if you're short selling these or you're looking to enter that arena, you still have to wait for a setup. Just like with bigger stocks, just because something's parabolic and it's running doesn't mean that's a short. Because it's overbought doesn't make it a short. You still need a signal to get short. You still need to manage your risk, especially on these, because they'll blow your account up if they decide, if you start shorting down here at like $2 and it runs to 12 on you. That's not going to be, it's like a count murderer right there. So watching them right now, while they're still strong, I'm not going to buy them, but I can't say like you can buy some dips intraday like this, but make sure you use a tight stop. So those are my two favorite cheapies. And AMRC, let me put this one here. This one here, looking for a turnaround, but again, just like overbought and oversold, you just can't buy the dip haphazardly here. I'm looking for a turnaround. We're into this first level of support. To be honest with you guys, it does not look very good. It's trading under the 200-day moving average. That's already bearish. Just 3 days straight down. So what we need is a couple of flat days, inside day or something, and then possibly a quick turnaround to connect with the 200-day, maybe 80 at best, somewhere in that zone. Just watching this AMRC for now. Just keep it on your list. You need a green day or something to show that the selling is over. You just can't buy this red. And the last, who is last? Oh, yes, Beyond Meat. I might have brought this one up last week. I want to short Beyond. I know that they got squeezed up here a little bit. Okay, guys, I have returned. I don't know what happened to the tape. It just cut off. I think I ran out of disk space. I'm a cheap bastard. Anyway, I'm just joking. Where were we? Beyond. That's right. Sorry, I had to cut the tape. I normally don't do that stuff. I like the flow, but I'm out of the flow. So if you stuck around this long, you're like, wow, was I tripping there? Anyway, Beyond. I think I left off talking about KFC. I already talked about that last week, how stupid that was. Offering a vegan chicken wing. I'm a vegetarian, so I would love to have that, but nobody goes into KFC who's a vegetarian for certain reasons. Anyway, I don't think this is good enough news. You make your own choice. It's probably just a small short squeeze. Looks like it's tiring out here. This one here is kind of a slow mover at this point, but I think it's one of those swing shorts that just continues over time to go down, like Zoom and like Roku, which were my other top shorts that I'm still in. And I think this is going to be one of those two. You probably won't get rapid rewards out of this, but keep it very close to you because I do like this Beyond. So guys, I'm going to cut that short here right now. Sorry for the tape issues. Always, if you need help, feel free to reach out to me, www.tradewithdoug.com. Or just send me email, support@thelincolnlist.com. Yes, I'm still using the old Lincoln List email because I'm a cheap bastard. But I want to thank you very much. I want you to have a great trading week. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, ideas. Let me know what you guys are trading. Would love to open up a little dialogue with you. As always, trade well, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.